Welcome to the Financial Foundations podcast, your gateway to the fascinating realm of finance, brought to you by Base Wealth Management. In this show, we delve deep into the world of money, guided by seasoned experts who will unravel the complexities of finance and provide you with invaluable insights and practical advice. Now, here are your hosts, Dustin Taylor and Alex Wolf.
Welcome back to our fourth episode of Financial Foundations, brought to you by Base Wealth Management, where we are the foundation to your financial plan. I'm your host, Dustin Taylor.
I'm your co-host, Alex Wolf, certified financial planner.
And today we're going to talk about a big topic, one that we come across a lot. We got another question that made me think of other people that have brought up these specific questions, and it's centered around, do I have enough to retire? You know, I have $100,000 in my retirement account. Can I rely on Social Security to retire? And we want to jump into that and kind of give you an idea of what you can expect your retirement to look like on different types of income levels. So let's get into it. Alex, if someone approaches you or they come in for a financial plan and they ask you this question, how do you typically answer it?
It's a very common question, and that's one of the first things people come in and ask is this enough? Do I have enough? Can I retire? And I like to start as a financial planner with a plan, but really understanding their income sources, what's going to help supplement their income when they no longer have a job, and how much will it take for them to live off of during retirement. And you can work backward from there. So we sit down, we kind of map out their financial picture, what sources they have, what, bank accounts, retirement savings, anything, plus guaranteed sources of income, like a pension, Social Security, and say, the way you're living now, is that the same lifestyle you want during retirement? And for 95% of people, they say, yeah, I don't want to have to sacrifice anything to maintain my quality of life. I just don't want to have to do it. And say, okay, based on what you've saved, the income that you'll have coming in, when it's coming in, it may or may not be enough for you to live the lifestyle you want, especially if you're going to live 20, 30, 40 more years. There's young people that come to us and say, I'm 50 years old, I'm 60 years old, I don't want to work anymore. And we have to have these conversations. And unfortunately, some of them can not be a very pretty picture. And you have to go through their finances and tell them it's not going to be enough. That's the least fun part of my job, is when you have to break the news to them that it may not be enough.
Right. So I think that a really good exercise for people to start out with is to write down their expenses and throw in some stuff in there if they like to travel during the year or whatever, and consider some things, whether or not they paid off their house or will they have paid off their house by the time they go into retirement. And then talk to a professional and kind of get a retirement wellness check where, like you, they can go through a checklist of whether they're able to retire or not. Now, another topic that you have to consider in retirement is one of the biggest expenses is probably going to increase. You're getting older. What about healthcare? You got to think about that. Can you touch on that a little bit?
That's another big subject that comes up a lot, is when you retire before Medicare age and you have to either go get private healthcare or go to the marketplace to get healthcare. And that could be a big expense, especially if you come from a job that is either partially covering your medical premiums or you have really good healthcare benefits and you're about to experience what it may be like to lose those benefits. And that's an increased cost that you'll definitely have to consider if retiring before 65 and of Medicare age. Another thing, while we're talking about this subject, is when to collect Social Security. Maybe the answer is right away if you're 62, as soon as you can collect, or if you can delay it. But most often than not, people that retire early and they need that income, they're going to start it at 62. And if you have a long lifespan, that money that you're collecting, it does get cost of living adjustments, but it may not be enough to keep up with inflation. If you live well into your 90s, that money's just not going to go as far. So you have to think about that.
Well, yeah, not only that, but if you start withdrawing earlier, claiming it earlier, you're going to give up some of that money early, right? Can you speak about that a bit?
Yeah, so the earlier you collect Social Security, you're taking a smaller benefit than if you delay it to full retirement age, or if you delay it all the way to age 70, which is the oldest age that you can delay it to. And it delays that benefit by up to 30% if you collect it early. Another consideration, there's a lot of considerations here, is the age in which you can take out money from retirement accounts without a penalty. If you just have an IRA, it's 59 and a half. And we have people that come to us at 55, 50 years old, and you're like, well, you can't touch that money. There are ways that you can access it without a penalty, but it can be costly if you slip up. And we can probably actually make a whole nother episode about that and how to take money out of retirement accounts. So keep that one. We'll talk about that too. But if you have a workplace plan, there may be scenarios, which are pretty common, where you can access those 401ks and 403bs at age 55 from those retirement plans. So it's important to take into consideration how old you are and what types of retirement accounts you can access.
And I do want to go back a little bit to Social Security, because I think that a lot of people probably think that it's going to be like their savior. It's really going to help them a lot. But if you continue to work while withdrawing Social Security, there's also implications there as well.
There definitely are considerations if you continue to work part-time or full-time while collecting, because that reduction in benefits could be up to $1 for every $2 you make. And that threshold is fairly low. I want to say it's like $15,000 or $18,000. Can't remember exactly off the top of my head. But yeah, so there is something to consider there as well if you are still working and collecting Social Security. A common misperception, and you kind of dropped a hint on this, is people thinking that they can live just off of Social Security. And that's not the way it was designed. It was designed to really be a supplement, hoping that you had other forms of savings to draw upon. Now, don't get me wrong, there are people I talk to that can live off of Social Security alone, but they're typically higher income earners, so their benefit was pretty big, and they waited till full retirement age, and they live very frugally, meaning they're watching their spending pretty closely.
Okay, and as for everything in the financial sphere here, it's really specific to you and your personal plan. But if you had to give some like blanket tips on whether someone has enough to retire or not, or how to get enough, what would those be?
I would say for our younger listeners who are working, trying to save for retirement, if you are eligible to contribute to a Roth IRA or your Roth 401k, if it's offered, to take advantage of low tax brackets now, or possibly future higher tax brackets than now. Also, if you have a company that matches your retirement contributions, contribute at least enough to get the company match. So if they match 4%, that means you should be contributing at least 4, hopefully more, to get that free money. That's literally free money. It may not be vested. They may have a vesting schedule. You may not be able to run away with that match immediately. They may make you wait a while, but it's still free money nonetheless. I'd max out your contributions and try to save money where you can. Think about your finances, sit down, look at a budget sheet and where your money is going, and think about things that you can cut out, especially now in this day and age where we have a lot of subscriptions, meaning that money's just automatically being charged or deducted for any type of payment, or subscription service. Think about ones that maybe you don't use or ones that you could cut out, and really think about where you can be saving money. And then one of your favorite topics, Dustin, is compounding returns. So if you're younger and you can start contributing to any type of account and investing it, the earlier you do, that money can compound over more years. And that's significant when you start earlier versus later in life. And if you are starting now and you've missed some years, it's okay, but you're going to have to contribute more than your peers that started earlier, unfortunately.
Right, and of course, we also, as we always say, want to say again to talk to a professional, because there are some other things that pretty much everyone can do to try to avoid taxes in retirement. These surprise tax bills whenever you go to retirement, you don't want to be caught by those. So definitely speak to your financial advisor. I think that about wraps up this topic. So thank you again for tuning in. If you'd like to find out more information or view the show notes, you can visit our website at basewealthmanagement.com.
Please also leave your reviews of our podcast on your favorite podcast listening app, and you can email us your questions to question@basewealthmanagement.com.
I'm Dustin Taylor.
I'm Alex Wolf.
And happy listening.
We hope the expertise shared by our hosts, Dustin Taylor and Alex Wolf, has left you feeling empowered and informed. If you're eager for more financial wisdom, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share the show with your friends, family, and colleagues. Until next time, stay sharp in the world of finance.